I give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Ha Rakah Kodash, double honors unto our apostle elders which rule great millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, Wa Abba Babal. Alright, so if you've been noticing, the apostles have been getting on those two false prophets that are telling Israel that they need an education from the so-called white man to get a degree so that they could be successful in his wicked system, and that Abba Bivens, was destroying the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American Indian by telling them not to get a degree. All right, but I read Abba Bivens' book, and really he's just saying that we got to focus on the scriptures more than focusing on success in the world. All right, because really salvation is our priority, worshiping Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, so the heathens' top man, the president, even said the Bible, an education in the Bible is better than in their universities. It says the specific well-known quote, "A thorough knowledge of the Bible is worth more than a college education," is attributed to the 26th U.S. President Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th president from 1901 to 1909, the quote, "A thorough knowledge of the Bible is worth more than a college education." You see? So learning the Bible is more important with understanding than going to college, all right, or having a good job, which it tells you in Revelation chapter 1, verse 1, the revelation of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, which in this chapter it tells you the description of Yahweh Shai, and that he is a so-called black man with a white woolly afro. It says, which our power Yahweh gave unto him to show unto his servants, which we got the truth. Yahweh Shai is the truth. Things which must shortly come to pass, and we have it through the Holy Spirit. And he sent and signified it by his angel unto his servant John, which we have it through the book of Revelation, which this is the vision of John, who bear record of the word of Yahweh and of the testimony of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, and of all things that he saw. Blessed is he, so blessed means the other nations are going to bow before us, is he that readeth and they that hear the words of this prophecy and keep those things which are written therein, for the time is at hand. So you'd be better off getting an understanding of the scriptures than to go to college and spend all this money that you're not going to get, back. In fact, you're going to be in debt for something that's vain and worthless. Because remember, just recently they made all those degrees, they were professions, and then they took that title away from them of being a profession. So really, they're nothing. They're degrees, they're nothing. All right, they're really a debt. When you go to college, you owe all this money, and you won't even work in the degree, in the sector that you got your degree. So that word "keep" there, just to point it out what it means. Tereo. It says to attend to carefully, take care of, to guard, to keep one in the state in which he is pleasing to Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, to observe, to reserve. Now this word observe, all right, it says observe is a versatile verb meaning to watch carefully, notice, comply with rules, or make a remark, which we confess Our confession is unto salvation, but we believe in Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai with the mind, and we confess, which that's Romans 10. Right? Before men, we are confessing our faith in Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, which you could hear all these negative reviews of people that went to college and they're not making money in that degree. With that degree, they're in fact in more debt. All right. So even if you just listen to that, that'll tell you that, it's a bad deal to go to college. It's not beneficial. And especially now that the world's going digital, we're going into a digital world. So just knowing that right there, and then they're coming out with AI and robots, they're openly telling you that your jobs are no longer needed. Your so-called degrees, which they once again said were professions, are no longer professions. They're no longer needed. All right. So you got to be a goddamn fool to believe that going to this so-called white man's colleges or even his lower level schools are any benefit. They're not. They're just a burden to weigh down the poor people. All right. A stumbling block. That's all it is a stumbling block. Because reading and writing, you can learn that at home from your parents, amongst your own siblings, amongst your own kind. But instead, you want to go and integrate amongst a bunch of different nations, learning abominations, committing abominations, because colleges is usually where these women get turned out, right? They have these parties, they'll get them drunk or drugged up and turn them out. So really, it's a good thing that these schools are shutting down and these colleges are shutting down. All right. And really, it's the Lord doing it because he's tired of this place and he don't want us to be mingled with it. All right. It says in Romans 10, verse 10, for with the heart man believeth unto righteousness. Talking about the Israelite man. You believe in Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai as it is written. That's righteousness. And not of our own, but of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai, which is going to lead to us being blessed. It says, and with the mouth confession is made unto salvation. And what are we confessing? For the scripture saith, so we're confessing what is in the scriptures, whosoever believeth on him, on Yahweh's son, Yahushai, honoreth Yahweh, shall not be ashamed. See, but you see all these people that have college degrees and they're being ashamed. You see? In fact, degree means downgrade. So you become dumber. All right? So the word there, kantais huno, all right, which is the Greek, it says to dishonor, disgrace, to put to shame. And that's what's happening with these people that have these college degrees, right? They're in debt. They come out, the women, they're completely blown away with all the men that they slept with. So they're just come out with all this shame, debt, right? And then they don't even find the job that they went to school for. You see? So it says, make ashamed, to be ashamed, blush with shame, because they commit abominations. One is said to be put to shame, who suffers a repulse, or whom some hoped as deceived, has deceived. See, they hoped to get a degree. They hoped to get a good job. They hoped to make a lot of money. They hope to buy a house. They hope to own all this stuff. But really, they're put to shame because you got people that are college educated flipping burgers and their job's in danger because of a robot could do it without bitching. You know what I'm saying? So really, it's a waste of time to go to this so-called white man's education system, which is nothing but a bunch of goddamn lies. And it tells you that it's going to fail. All right? Obadiah, verse Let's see. Verse 8. It says, this is the Lord speaking, shall I not in that day, saith Yahweh, even destroy the wise men out of Edom and understanding out of the mount of Esau? So the Lord's literally cutting off the vain knowledge of the wicked. Look it up. Look up how many schools, public schools, shut down in 2026. The only job left is for you to go die in the military. All right? It don't matter if you're a doctor. In fact, they said if you got a degree in medical, you're the first to go to the war if there's a draft. See? So there's going to be people that spent all these years in college going to the war to die in a vain war. What a vain death. It says, and thy mighty men, OT men, which are the Germans, shall be dismayed, to the end that everyone of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. So they're going to lose. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee. This is why it's happening, because you fuck with the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians. So your whole system is crumbling around you, under you, right? Your degrees are in vain, right? Your education system is vanity, nothing. It's really nothing, all right? Why? Because you're removing the history of slavery, right? You're fucking with the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, and so you're bringing the judgment upon your own head. You see, so your system is not gonna continue. Isaiah 14 and 3. It says, not 3, verse 4, that thou shalt take up this proverb, which we're speaking prophecy against the king of Babylon. Babylon is pertaining to Babylon the Great, a.k.a. America, and say, how had the oppressor ceased, the golden city ceased? So you're going to college in vain. It's coming to a stop. It's coming to a standstill. Eventually, America is not even going to exist no more because it burnt all the bridges that it had allies with. All right? It says, the golden city ceased. Yahweh had broken the staff of the staff of the wicked and the scepter of the rulers. See, it's the Lord doing it. He's shutting this place down. And you can't go against the Lord. And Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai is going to completely remove Babylon the Great from the map. So you're really in vain fighting for something that really it's nothing. It's really nothing. And that's why you'll be nothing and put to shame. All right, because you're hoping in nothing. Just like these heathen and their gods, their idols, which are nothing. So they are nothing. That's why I say fuck the heathen. All right, and I love to say fuck the heathen. All right? Fuck their system. Fuck everything that they hope in. Because it tells you, everyone that hopes and everyone that helps are going to fall together. All right? And that's why we give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Ha Rekah Kodash, because we do have a healthy hope, which is in our salvation and in a kingdom of righteousness, which has been promised to us from Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, which it's coming to pass. Look at the prophecies. It's happening in our time. See, that's something you could count on. They say, take that to the bank. Well, guess what? Your bank is going to go digital. Your bank is going to go digital, and they're going to introduce cryptocurrencies, right, as a universal income, where there ain't no more jobs. And it tells you the cities are going to shut down because the cities are going to go to war for famine and for great tribulation. So you're really wasting your time and your energy. And really, if you're an Israelite, you're going to be in the lake of fire hoping on this place. And you're going to learn the truth by pain. When you're in that fire, you're going to realize it was true what we were telling you, that all this shit is vain. It's nothing. It's going to be destroyed soon. So you'd be foolish to go and invest your time in trying to get a college education to work in a place that no longer requires you to work in it. That's why they're coming up with universal basic income. They're going to go digital. All right? And that's the prophecies. And really going against that, you're going against the grain. Shalom to the elect. Wa abba babal.